SummerSlam 2025 could mark a major turning point in Roman Reigns' career, serving not just as another high-profile appearance, but as the event that redefines his entire character and place in WWE history. After dominating the company for years as the Tribal Chief, Roman has reached a point where the persona risks becoming stagnant if not refreshed. SummerSlam gives him the perfect platform to undergo a transformation, not necessarily by abandoning everything that brought him to the top, but by evolving into a more nuanced and unpredictable version of himself. It is a necessary evolution, one that could allow Reigns to explore a new trajectory without diminishing the legacy he has already built. For someone who has carried the main event scene for several years, a reboot at this stage could ensure that his influence continues to grow instead of decline. The dynamics leading into SummerSlam are already unlike anything Roman has faced before. Teaming with Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed creates an entirely different challenge than what he's used to. Instead of defending a title, he's defending his pride, his family, and perhaps his relevance in a fast-changing WWE landscape. This tag match may appear secondary to the championship contest on paper, but for Roman, it's personal. Being positioned in a high-stakes tag team encounter rather than headlining with a title match reflects WWE's intent to test how the audience receives Roman without gold around his waist. This subtle shift allows creative freedom. It gives Roman space to show vulnerability, doubt, and maybe even internal conflict. For a character who has long been portrayed as invincible, this is fertile ground for development. The opponents in the match represent more than just physical threats. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed symbolize the next generation of destruction. Both are physical juggernauts with rising momentum and fan intrigue. Their presence in the ring with Roman hints at the passing of a torch, or at least a threat to Roman's hold on dominance. Roman is now in the position that Cena once held, an aging figurehead who must choose between protecting his throne or adapting to remain indispensable. A loss at SummerSlam, especially one where he is pinned or made to look weak, could fracture his aura of invincibility. That doesn't mean it would destroy his legacy, it could in fact rejuvenate it. The Roman that rises from defeat could be more interesting than the one who never falls. There's also the psychological aspect of tagging with Jey Uso. Their relationship has been fractured, repaired, and strained over the years, culminating in a dynamic that constantly evolves. SummerSlam allows this emotional thread to be pulled further. If miscommunication, betrayal, or emotional conflict plays out during the match, it could serve as the final straw in their familial saga. Roman could lash out, not with rage, but with emotional despair. The character could begin questioning the bloodline ideology he has clung to so tightly. That internal unraveling would mark the beginning of a character shift, a departure from the cold, calculating Tribal Chief into something more layered, conflicted, and ultimately human. It wouldn't be weakness, it would be vulnerability used as a tool to deepen fan engagement. Roman's persona has been that of a king, untouchable, smug, manipulative, and always in control. But SummerSlam provides the opportunity to plant the seeds of doubt, making him face challenges that brute strength and mind games can't easily overcome. If he starts to question whether the bloodline was ever worth the emotional toll, the door opens for a dramatic transformation. He may begin a journey of self-discovery, even if it's wrapped in kayfabe. It's the perfect point for Roman to evolve into a conflicted anti-hero rather than a dominating villain or returning to being a conventional babyface. Fans are no longer as interested in purely good or evil characters. They crave complexity, and Roman is uniquely positioned to deliver that complexity in a way few others can. SummerSlam's mainstream exposure also adds weight to Roman's reboot. With Cardi B hosting and crossover celebrities like Jelly Roll participating, the event is attracting a broader pop culture savvy audience. Roman can use that spotlight to reintroduce himself not only to WWE fans, but to casual viewers who associate him with the stoic champion of the past few years. A noticeable change in demeanor, attire, promo delivery, or even ring psychology during the event could signal that something has shifted. This doesn't mean a sudden face turn or a complete break from his past. It means crafting a new chapter, one informed by everything he's experienced but not limited by it. He could show humility and loss, or even reluctant admiration for younger talent. These moments create emotional resonance that transcends simple storytelling. It's also crucial to consider what SummerSlam could mean in terms of Roman's long-term future. He's reached a level where he's no longer just a wrestler, he's a brand. That brand requires renewal to avoid burnout. Reigns could use SummerSlam to hint at ambitions beyond WWE, planting the idea that he may explore acting or outside ventures while still tying it to his current storyline. That tension between being the face of WWE and a man with larger aspirations could fuel compelling narratives that make him more than just a dominant character. It would make him aspirational, flawed, and relatable. Reigns' career needs these moments of reflection and transformation to sustain itself, especially as younger stars like Breaker begin to capture fan attention. One of the more intriguing possibilities is Roman completely rejecting the bloodline identity at SummerSlam, not just stepping away from it, but denouncing it. In a backstage segment or a post-match promo, he could express regret, sorrow, or even guilt about the manipulation and destruction the bloodline caused. This would not make him soft, it would make him self-aware. Such a shift could lead to alliances fans never expected. Imagine Roman forming temporary alignments with wrestlers who used to oppose him, not because he's suddenly a good guy, guy, but because they now share common enemies or goals. These unexpected pairings can keep Roman's character fresh while building anticipation for every move he makes. It creates a landscape of uncertainty where fans genuinely don't know what he'll do next. SummerSlam could also mark the moment Roman experiments with silence. By choosing not to cut long promos, not to issue threats, and instead allow his actions or expressions to speak for him, he could reinvent himself as a more enigmatic force. Silence can be powerful, and Roman, if he chooses to embody a brooding, distant character, could achieve a level of mystique reminiscent of legends like The Undertaker. In an era of overexposed characters, Roman pulling back and letting fans interpret his motivations would generate buzz and deepen interest. SummerSlam provides the perfect setting for this kind of symbolic transformation, because when the spotlight is at its brightest, absence and restraint often say the most. There's also the looming presence of CM Punk and John Cena. Their match with high stakes could overshadow Roman's if he doesn't find a way to make his presence matter. That competition for relevance is an unspoken motivator for change. Roman needs to differentiate himself, not just from his past self, but from the other legends walking into SummerSlam with massive storylines. He could respond to this not with jealousy, but by recalibrating what it means to be a headliner. Maybe the new Roman doesn't need gold. Maybe he becomes an architect behind the scenes, pulling strings, mentoring younger stars, or even becoming a kind of chaotic neutral figure in WWE's landscape. That subtle power shift, moving from in-ring dominance to cerebral influence, could begin at SummerSlam and alter WWE's power structure. Another pivotal aspect is how fans will react. WWE has been using crowd feedback more than ever to fine-tune characters. If Roman hints at a change, whether it's emotional turmoil, tactical retreat, or philosophical questioning, and the audience responds favorably, the company will double down on it. That real-time feedback loop gives SummerSlam an interactive quality. Fans won't just be witnessing a match, they'll be shaping the future of Roman Reigns. And if WWE leans into those reactions, Roman's reboot becomes organic instead of forced. A character reboot that feels earned rather than manufactured often has lasting power. It invites fans to invest emotionally, to see not just a character, but a journey. SummerSlam also opens the door for symbolic acts. A gear change, a new entrance theme, or a moment where Roman looks back one last time at the entrance ramp before walking off could speak volumes. These are cinematic tools WWE uses masterfully, and in the case of Roman Reigns, symbolism could carry more weight than words. A single moment, Roman pausing to look at a fallen Jey Uso, a subtle nod to a former rival, a half smile of reluctant respect to Braun Breaker could launch months of speculation and engagement. The fans are watching for signs, and SummerSlam offers the most eyes Roman could ask for to witness a new beginning. The nature of SummerSlam's two-night format is also strategic. By splitting the card, WWE allows each major star to own their night. Roman sharing his match with tag partners on night 1 allows his story to breathe independently of the Cena versus Cody drama. This separation ensures that Roman's transformation isn't drowned out. It gives space for storytelling moments before and after the match, perhaps backstage encounters, symbolic gestures, or confrontations that set the tone for what comes next. Roman could even show up unannounced during night 2, watching Cena versus Rhodes from the crowd or stage, hinting at future entanglements, or simply staking his claim as the true leader of WWE's narrative, even if he's no longer the champion. This reboot doesn't have to be explosive, it can be slow, creeping, and psychological. Roman Reigns could become a character ruled by doubt, slowly unraveling in a way that mirrors what real people go through when their belief systems collapse. The Tribal Chief was more than a gimmick. It was a worldview, a moral code. Watching that disintegrate under the weight of betrayal, defeat, and introspection would elevate Roman beyond the usual boundaries of wrestling characters. It would place him in a rare space where character development mimics human emotion and complexity. SummerSlam, with its grand stage and emotional stakes, is the most suitable event to begin that journey. That something else Roman Reigns could become is what makes this upcoming SummerSlam such a monumental event, not just for him, but for WWE's entire future. His character shift doesn't need to follow the traditional babyface redemption arc or return to the big dog persona he once embodied. Instead, it can be a complete deconstruction of everything the Tribal Chief stood for. When Roman walked into WWE's main event scene years ago, he was positioned as the next chosen one. Over time, fans rejected that image until he embraced the heel persona that transformed him into the most compelling figure in wrestling. But even the best acts need to evolve, or they risk losing their spark. That evolution doesn't mean discarding what worked, it means transforming it into something deeper. SummerSlam can act as the crucible in which that transformation begins. Through fire, through loss, or even through quiet realization. Imagine the emotional weight of Roman realizing that despite years of dominance, the respect he seeks has become hollow. His accomplishments, his title reigns, and his manipulation of family and friends have left him without trust, without allies, and perhaps without identity. SummerSlam offers a rare moment for Roman to confront that. Maybe it comes through Jey Uso walking out on him during their match. Maybe it comes from losing to younger talent who refuse to acknowledge his legacy. Or maybe it comes from Roman looking into the crowd, seeing the signs in the faces, and understanding that his grip has finally loosened. This introspection can plant the seeds for a new Roman, one who no longer fights to maintain a throne, but to rediscover meaning in a world that's moved on from the mythology he created. Every character in wrestling reaches a crossroads. SummerSlam 2025 represents Roman Reigns' moment to choose whether he clings to the past past or embraces change. With new threats rising, his inner circle splintering, and his own legacy at risk of becoming repetitive, the time is right for a reinvention that shocks, resonates, and lasts. Whether that reinvention means walking away, evolving into a darker persona, or becoming the WWE's enigmatic guidepost, SummerSlam provides the perfect stage. Roman doesn't need to win a belt or headline the card to reshape the company. He just needs to start becoming someone new. This night could begin the most important chapter of his career, the one where he finally lets go of who he was and allows himself to become something else entirely.